Hello, Incubus here. Welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial. Today we are having a closer look at minecart junctions. I am a real sucker for railway systems, so when I realized the potential of minecarts for transporting players and items, I got really excited and came up with several cool ways to make life on my server easier. I have several more videos in preparation involving minecarts, and there are some mechanics in those which I would like to cover beforehand. Now, what are the basics? In my opinion, everything starts with what some people call the southeast rule. Here we have rails from all four cardinal directions meeting in a single block. If we place a regular rail on that center block, it will immediately align itself, connecting south and east. Now, if the block is powered and the rail is placed, it will align towards north and west. An important fact is that you cannot actually create four-way junctions like this. Firstly, because it cannot change the direction anymore, even though it shows the direction for the rail at placement. Changing the power does not affect it anymore. There are two ways a minecart moves through a junction. First, if the junction directly connects to the rail the minecart arrives from, the minecart will follow the rail and curve in a right angle to whatever the rail connects to. Second, if the junction does not connect to the rail the minecart arrives from, the minecart will go through the junction in a straight line. Therefore, the second reason why you cannot create four-way junctions like this is that you would not be able to make connections between south and west, north and east, and their respective opposite directions, as they never connect and obviously never are in a straight line. So the way to create a four-way intersection would be using a series of three-way junctions. In this video, we will only be examining the regular three-way ones. But if you are interested in the subject, there is a great video by JL2579 called Four-Way Minecart Intersection. I will have a link in the description below. So here are the only four different junctions available: east-southwest, north-southwest, northeast-west, and northeast-south. When we place the junction rail on the unpowered middle block, the southeast rule immediately applies, and if only one of those two directions is available, it will make the closest 90-degree connection south to west, east to north. Then, when we power the middle block, it will change to the opposite direction available, south to north and east to west. While unpowered, you can force a junction in a direction only offering two directions and adding the third afterwards. This will work as long as the junction does not receive power or bud power. In a single cart system, you usually want to choose the direction you send your minecart to and have returning cars routed automatically so you won't have to worry about them. A good way to achieve that is using detector rails. Detector rails have a bad habit of directly powering adjoining junctions with an awkward timing. The minecart might not go where you think it should. A good rule of thumb is keep one block distance between the junction and the detector rail. The most convenient way to power junctions is from below using a redstone torch, as you can easily change its state by powering the block it sits on, and you can simply hide the redstone circuitry below ground. Here we have a setup where we want a full speeding minecart to be routed to safety and not fall into a bottomless pit. What needs to happen is that the pulse from the detector rail changes the direction in time and holds it long enough for the minecart to pass through. This generally works as long as the block the redstone torch stands on is powered within 0 and 2 ticks. Now, there are 4 basic junctions, and each one connects 3 directions. And given that the arriving line is the return line, there are 12 different junction setups. I have categorized them in 3 groups, which I call independent, override, and combined. Let's have a look at the independent group. The track on diorite identifies the arrive return line, for which on arrival you usually choose which way to continue. Therefore, we use a lever as track selector, powering the block the redstone torch stands on. Now, while the block is powered, returning minecarts will be routed back correctly. But when the block is no longer powered, the return line is not connected at all. To make sure the minecarts are routed back the same way, we will need to power the block using detector rails and repeaters or redstone. Now, the override group works the opposite way. While the block is not powered, returning minecarts will be routed back correctly. But when the block is powered, the return line is not connected at all. So we will need to override the power from the track selector. The most compact way, in my opinion, is to place a comparator on subtract mode in the selector line and have the detector rails feed into the side of the comparator using a repeater. The repeater is to make sure the selector signal is overridden no matter what. Then, the combined group is a combination of both. While the block is powered, returning cards will be routed back correctly from this side, but not from that side. And when the block is no longer powered, returning minecarts will be routed back correctly from that side, but not from this side. So for this side, we will power the block using the detector rail, and for that side, we will do an override setup using a comparator and a repeater. Here I have organized all 12 junctions in their respective categories: independent green, override yellow, and combined red. An interesting fact is that the independent group consists of the ones that always have their arrive return line on the south or east side of the straight line. The override group consists of the ones that always have their arrive return line on the north or west side of the straight line. And the combined group consists of the ones that always have their arrive return line perpendicular to the straight line. As you can see, the southeast rule all over again. There it is. I hope you found out something you did not know already, enjoyed this tutorial. Leave me a like and see you back next time.